a written production of the Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated and is intended for the sole purpose of informing our Recreation Center members. Any duplication, copying, transmission, broadcast, or use, including electronic and social media, is strictly prohibited without the prior written consent from the Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated. Thank you for watching.
You guys all set? Good morning, everyone. Would you please rise and, if able, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Maybe I should have these just in case. All right, welcome to the Exchange this morning. I am Tom Foster, and I'm the president of the 2025 Board of Directors. This meeting is audio and visual recorded by the RCSC management and staff. Please be advised there's to be no recording of this meeting by any individuals. Please take out your cell phones or electronic devices and ensure that they are on a silent mode. And again, let me remind you that we do not tolerate verbal or physical abuse towards any member, any guest, visitor, employee, or staff member, and violators will be asked to leave the meeting. Now, I would like to introduce the board to you and our timekeeper and our management personnel. So, Board of Directors, Director Collins.
Here.
Director Gray.
Good morning.
Director Brissett.
Good morning.
Secretary Keiss.
Good morning.
Vice President Nedesine.
Good morning, everybody.
Treasurer Borski.
Morning, everyone.
Director Ruff.
Good morning, everyone. Hurry up and grab a chair. They're running out.
Director Ruff's playing musical chairs again. Our timekeeper will be Secretary Keiss. Management team, Director of Finance is Kevin McCurdy.
Good morning.
Director of Facilities is Mike Whiprud.
Hello.
Director of Operations is Mike Diermeyer.
Good morning.
Director of Golf is Brian Duthu.
Good morning.
And our board coordinator is Marcia Johnson.
Good morning.
Also want to recognize Alan Kleinhans, Carla Young, and Miguel Jackson, who serve as our audio and visual engineers. So let me touch on a couple of announcements this morning, and then we'll proceed. Our general manager search, we spent a fair amount of time last week working on the job description, and we are now at a stage where we will be looking at potential firms to market that search. So that has progressed quite a bit in the last week, and hopefully we can keep that moving at a rapid pace. Director of Golf search, that has advanced quite a ways as well. We may be able to begin interviews in the very near future, depending on the schedules of board members and the candidates that are in the finals. Master plan, the Long Range Planning Committee has finished surveying possible consultants, and we have formed a small task force of board members and management team members and a couple members from the Long Range Planning Committee. And we will continue to pursue this and flesh out the RFP and keep moving forward on the master plan project. 2026 budget, we're moving forward. on that on many fronts. Perhaps the one that you may be more interested in is golf has done quite a bit of investigating ways to that do not include necessarily raising green fees, but other ways that revenues could be enhanced from golf. But there are always trade-offs, so we'll just have to wait and see how the Golf Advisory Committee works through those. But that is high on the list of agendas for the 2026 budget. PIF. So we have this 5-year planning committee, which is made up of members of the Budget, Finance, and Audit Committee, and also the Long-Range Planning Committee. And I believe they have largely completed their 5-year responsibilities. Okay, I'm seeing some affirmative nods down there from management. That then moves to the Long-Range Planning Committee, who is ultimately responsible for a recommendation to the board on a 10-year PIF forecast. And so that is where that stands at the moment. Board of Director opening. I did make announcements about that a few weeks ago. That was carried nicely in the Independent, but we also followed that up with some ads in the Independent and email blasts to the membership, and that did raise a few more folks who were interested. So we've asked all of those who have responded to, if they haven't already, to send us a resume, and we are at the current time working through those resumes. Bylaws Working Group has made a lot of progress as well. Thank you to those folks for working so hard. And we are wrapping the Elections Committee into some of that discussion because of how elections might need to take, what form they might take as far as member proposed amendments. And that is going to take some fleshing out. So that's where we are with that at the moment. But there are a lot of other areas in that the Bylaws Working Group that they're making very good progress on a number of different fronts. Okay. No, okay. I was hoping we had we have two presentations. We were expecting the fire chief, but I do not see him. Apparently he forgot where the Sundial Auditorium is. And if he shows up, we'll try to work him in real quickly. Vice President Nettestein, would you like to go ahead with your presentation on where we stand with Mountain View as of today?
Good morning, everybody. Oops. So this is the monthly Mountain View update for you guys. You're going to start to see, as we move through programming, you're going to start to see some repetitive information. I thought long and hard about whether to take it out or keep it, but I decided the more often it's said, the more often it's seen, the more easily it is to absorb. So I went ahead and kept some things in. You are going to see that the slides will change. So the completed, this is the one that'll start to feel a little repetitive as we move forward, but the last two bullets on this particular slide are what I want to actually focus on, because we know that we've gone through visioning, we know we've done the engineering survey, and we know we were ready to move into programming. So we are in programming. We provided a list of stakeholders to Triarc, and we met with Triarc to define the final scope of what the programming will be. By that I mean, who gets talked to, what kind of costs are associated if we want to go beyond the original scope of what we said, and then what the next steps are. So we've been very cautious to stay fiscally responsible and stay within our budget as much as possible. So as we move forward, you will see if we have to deviate significantly from what we thought we were going to do, we'll start to bring some of that to you guys so you're aware. So our progress. We've sent an initial list of the stakeholders to Triarch, and we are finalizing that list in the sense that there's many more clubs that want to be able to talk with Triarch that have indicated an interest. And so what we want to do is make sure we stay, remember I said about the budget, staying fiscally responsible. How do we make that happen? How do we make it so that the clubs that want to be able to speak to Triarch can, the clubs we think should speak to Triarch do, and still stay within the boundaries of what we've budgeted for. So we're finalizing that list, and what that finalization of the list will be is potentially joining clubs together to be in one meeting. So some clubs will have a single meeting with Triarch, and other clubs may find that they're in a joint meeting with Triarch, and part of that is to stay within budget. We're providing usage data to Triarch. I'm analyzing the last of the April data, and then I will be able to send that off to Triarch, and they'll be able to look at Mountain View usage. And I'm also sending usage for some of the other sites like Fairway, Lakeview, so that they have an understanding of what different clubs are using what different sites and how that will work. Triarch, we've been meeting with Triarch to understand the current status and the next steps. We defined the scope. We know now how many clubs. We know if we go beyond this scope, it may cost us more money. But what we're doing now is we're reviewing budget to ensure we meet the member needs while at the same time being fiscally responsible. At this point, I would say that we have not made any decisions about expanding where we were at, but we do have 9 Triarch meetings type stakeholder meetings identified at this point. So that's our progress. For Triarch, this is a little smaller because they've done a lot more than we have, because that's what we hired them to do, right, was to do this work. So basically, they are pretty much finalized the questions they want to ask the stakeholders. They are starting to schedule meetings. Several of you, if you're in a club, would have already, and are the point of contact for that club, would have already gotten an email from Triarch asking some preliminary questions and then planning to schedule a meeting with you. So again, we will probably on our side, one of the ways of being fiscally responsible on our side, management and the board of directors will do the infrastructure operations software piece of it. So that frees up Triarch to have more time to speak with the clubs. So that's one of the things we're doing. Triarch, of course, will be talking to management and key stakeholders, but we're doing some of the preliminary work there. The clubs that use Mountain View will be involved, additional member non-club stakeholders. There will be a time that Triarch speaks to people that use Mountain View or might use Mountain View that are not in a club. Because I don't know how many people here, but I'm not a club person. I don't belong to any clubs. But I personally care about what happens to the pool down at Mountain View. That's what I personally care about. You know, I'd be interested in that. So I'm assuming we have many members who will feel the same way. And so Triarch is looking at how they do that in a way that works for us at this stage. And then they're doing interviews. I've seen a couple of emails that went out already to some of the clubs that have key interests down there. Think Aqua Fitness, things like that. The Players Club, obviously. And the deliverable at the end of the programming phase will be an analysis of the interviews and an update of existing data from previous phases. And then they'll share that with the board. And that's the point where after the member meeting, the board's going to have to make decisions. What does and does not go down there, what does and does not get changed, whatever. At that point, we'll be making the decision. So I want to be clear. No decision has been made about anything at Mountain View until the end of this phase. So we need member input, we need key stakeholder input, and then we need Triarch to do their analysis like they did at the visioning stage, and we need to share it with the rest of the membership, and then we can make final decisions. That being said, the timeline for that is only about 12 weeks. So it's not like it's 6, 8, 12 months. It's only about 12 weeks. And then there'll be some base concept drawings for Mountain View at the completion of that phase. But I want to be clear, it's not architectural drawings, it's not design drawings, it's just base concept. So it's like, this is a picture, this is what it could, some ideas that we have based on this phase. Uh-oh. Okay, Alan, I'm stuck. There we go. So what we need from you guys, these are the stakeholder interviews. What we need from you. We need you to identify which club members will be involved in those interviews. So Triarch has the right contact list if the person we put them in touch with is not the right person. So if you have a club and you've been basically we're giving the president's name. As the president, if you're not the person that needs to be talking about this, make sure Triarch gets the right names. You need to share current needs, wants, and usage data with Triarch as the meetings unfold. We have the monthly meetings, but you might know more about how you see your particular club evolving or what you're seeing from a growth potential, because some clubs are growing faster than others. And then we really, 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 really need the club members to attend those stakeholder interviews. To stay on the timeline we have to be actively engaged and do what we're supposed to do. So we need to make sure we attend those interviews. And then again, there's the non-club stakeholder interviews or be conducted, and Triarch will make the decision of how we do that. Okay. So what comes next? Stakeholder interviews over the next 8 to 10 weeks. Triarch will schedule and facilitate those meetings. If you have not been contacted by the end of May, so I want to be clear, if you've not been contacted by the end of May, please reach out to the board of directors so we can follow up and determine why. Maybe somebody else is representing your particular situation, maybe not, but if you haven't been contacted and you think you should have, by the end of May, please feel free to reach out to us. There will be a programming presentation by Triarch. They'll be taking stakeholder input, and it will have an influence on the outcomes of programming. There'll be some very base concept drawings. I want to be clear again, these are not detailed designs. They are not architectural drawings. They're not going to say we're going to have 12 6-foot windows and 30 treadmills. It's not going to be that detailed. It's going to be nothing like that. It's going to be very conceptual. We will send a communication to the membership once final decisions regarding the Mountain View buildings are made. We have not made any final decisions yet. We need to get through programming first, listen to the members, and then make the final decisions after the members have had their final input. Then we start design phase. With the design phase, that's where you get the color of the walls, what the buildings are going to look like. where the pool is, whether we have this, whether we have that. All of that comes out of design. And that'll be very detailed. And at that point, my understanding, and I'm going to look at Mr. Whiproot, my understanding is 12 to 18 months from that point. Okay, so somewhere within a 12 to 18 month time frame that we get the design back. Think about all the work, the architectural blueprint drawings, all of everything that has to happen. And then once that phase is done, the actual design work is done, we're all gonna go get a shovel and we're all gonna start digging on Mountain View. I actually have this vision in my mind that when we get there, we'll have a shovel party, right? Where everybody goes and digs a hole in the ground, just one. They don't have to dig a lot, just one where we all get in there and put a shovel in the ground and start it moving forward. Alan, thanks. So we need your help. We're committed to keeping the project moving forward. Regardless of where we find ourselves from a general manager perspective or anything, we're committed to keep moving forward. Please follow us on Facebook and please contact us at Board of Directors at suncityaz.org. Thank you, and we look forward to your input. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Vice President Nedesine. Again, a very good presentation to keep everyone up to date on the progress that we're being made on this very important movement for the rec centers of Sun City. If you picked up one of the documents in the back, we're ready to touch on that and hit at least those that were the newer items on that document and what has taken place after those issues were brought up at the last exchange meeting. So the first one there is start working on the 2026 annual meeting, entertainment, make it fun. I guess I would say it's kind of a business meeting, so I'm not sure how much fun I'm going to have at that meeting, but we have started thinking conceptually about what that meeting will look like. But we do have to make sure that we have kind of the infrastructure there to do whatever business needs need to take place. And hopefully then we can throw in a little entertainment if possible in order to make it, a pleasant evening for everyone if possible. Second item, need new marketing, bring back the Hawaiian shirts. I'm not hearing a lot of feedback from the staff that they're enamored with those Hawaiian shirts, but I think where this will probably go as far as marketing is that will be part of the master plan rollout that we're working on. That part of that plan will be how do we market the Sun City rec centers and those facilities in order to attract new members in the future. I think there is some discussions about different shirts for different phases of what you're working on as a Sun City Rec Center employee. And perhaps something a little more colorful for those who we do want people to be able to recognize and know that that's a rec center employee. But for those that are perhaps not on the front lines, something a little more reserved. I like that. I don't want to have to wear sunglasses when I go into the cardholder services because it's so bright with those shirts that I need to protect my retina. But something that kind of identifies those that are sort of office personnel versus those that are out front and need to be recognized as rec center employees. So we'll see how that rolls out. PowerPoint presentation to help explain the financials. Director of Finance McCurdy and Treasurer Borski have actually been working on that. I have seen at least a initial draft of some PowerPoint slides, and I think there's going to need to be some more work on that. They look kind of like my slides, which was too detailed, so I'm assuming these will be not quite as busy as they currently are, but we'll see how that rolls out. But there is work being done on that. That was a good request from the membership, so let's respond to that. Duffyland Dog Park and maintenance hours, that is in Mr. Whiprood's hands as far as how much time and personnel he has that can be allocated to that, and he will let us know as he's. Yes, sir.
I have an observation and an offer for you on this regard.
Okay.
I was at the dog park on Wednesday, the normal last Wednesday of the month when my crew cleans the dog park, and I think the dog park looks really good. But I did talk with them about, do we need to be coming out here more than once a month? And so the answer was interesting. It kind of depends. So the offer to you guys is what we can handle is to come twice a month, but just during the wintertime months, not during the summer, because there's a lot less traffic in that park. So right about now, as things are getting hot, we think once a month is still good. But by next October, November, we can schedule a second time to come. Again, that would require a shutdown of the park in the morning when they work, but that's my offer.
Well, I'm willing to, let's give that a try and see if that meets the needs of the membership, and I'm certain that if there are some other opinions, we will hear that.
Okay.
Director Collins?
Yes, I too went to look at the dog park, and I think something needs to be done with the trees. It did not look good to me.
I have a comment about the trees. There's two trees that we've been monitoring that look dead over the winter, and we were hoping that when spring comes around, they'll come back. And one of them is coming back, but the other one isn't. So we're going to take down that one tree that for sure looks dead. The rest of the trees, I say, look good.
Thank you.
All right. Good. Okay. List salaries on our website of our staff members, and the board has discussed that, and the consensus opinion was those are confidential numbers and information. So while we may disclose when we're hiring for a spot, a range of salaries that we're looking for there, I think the final salary level of any individual employee is still a confidential matter, and I do not think we are going to go down the path of disclosing those. 14-day guest rule, that has been referred to the bylaws working group. So that is something that's being worked on right now. By the way, that group has kind of subdivided into four subgroups, and so they've split up the bylaws accordingly, and different subgroups are working on different portions of that. So one of the groups is taking care of that particular item, as well as the next item, which is a question about whether or not we have a per property assessment or a per person assessment. So that is another part of the working group's task, and I believe there has been some legal work done on that as well. So we'll see how that sorts itself out when they come back with when the working group comes back with their recommendations. Small narrative on financials to let us know where we are in major variances. So Treasurer Borski has been trying to respond to that request by modifying how she addresses variances in her treasurer's report. And then Director of Finance McCurdy has been, and not that he hasn't done in the past, but he's paying a little bit, or putting a little more effort into trying to identify variances within his management report write-up so that you can see exactly where we are above budget or below budget on various categories of revenue and expense. Next is the Legal Affairs Committee. Again, this is something that is handed off to the bylaws working group. There is one of those subgroups that is dealing with all of the committee structures and responsibilities, and whether that committee is kept or whether that committee is not kept. So again, there'll be some recommendations that come from that particular subgroup that would relate to this particular item. Provide range of salaries for employees. We kind of covered that already, so hopefully that was adequate for the needs here. And the last one is Mountain View Tennis Courts, and I believe that work, Mr. Ripprood, is underway?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So I think that covers the ones that we need to address this morning. Hopefully, if you wanted to make a comment, you went back there and pulled a number from the machine, and we will start at number 19. 18?
18, sorry.
Okay.
Thank you. 17?
Oh, you came early then.
17. Anybody got 16? Somebody got 16? Then we'll go with 17.
All right. So if you would come up, so we're going to start with at 17.
Start at
All right.
16.
At 16.
You said, sir, right?
Okay.
Now I got to figure out how to go back.
I don't know how you go back, but that's too complicated machine for
I
me.
don't know if I know how to go forward.
That's,
Catch up with it.
okay. All right. So we're starting at 16 then?
16.
All right. 16, come up with, state your name and your rec number, and you'll get 3 minutes, as is our normal policy. And just keep going. No matter how many questions you might have, we'll try to write those things down and then address as what we can after you're done with your comments.
Thank
Go ahead,
you.
sir.
I do have number 17. So, Jim Kepler, 127409. It's nice to see that the Mountain View project is finally moving along. For those board members who are newer, I was involved in the very first ad hoc committee maybe 6 years ago, and partially involved with the second one. I'm here today because I've heard a few comments that we may be looking at ripping up the lawn bowling at Mountain View and putting in additional pickleball courts. I'm hoping that the new board members will put a brake on this for a while. I'm asking those, we know we have to redo the parking lot. We know we have either tear down the theater or build a new one or rehab it. We know that I've heard that the gymnasium is too old to rehab, so we're probably going to have to do that. We know we have the pool decking problems. And so our first ad hoc committee, and probably even the second one, suggested that we finally turn those 2 tennis courts into 6 pickleball courts. And we should be doing that. I know, since I live up there, I know they're resurfacing that now. I'm hoping that we could move along with the projects that we know that needs to be done. Then, once we've spent all the money and we still have money left, if we determine that we need more pickleball courts, well, then let's address it then. But if we tear up that lawn bowling area, then we're stuck. I'd also like to point out that the Sun City Country Club, the golf course, we have quite a bit of property over there. I don't know how many pickleball courts you could put over there, but I bet you between the gymnasium and that country club, we could probably put in 8 pickleball courts without ripping up anything other than a picnic area that nobody uses. Let's see, we know we have to move the hot tub outdoors, and so I'm hoping that we can do the projects that we know have to be done first, then move on to the second one. And that's all I came to say. Sorry, I have another meeting I have to go to, but I'll listen to your comments and then I'll head out the door. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Riprud, could you enlighten me as to how much of the golf course we own? I thought that was owned privately, and that was not part of the RCSC.
We don't own any of that golf course, but I think what the gentleman is speaking to is the property just adjacent to the golf course that really isn't really used. It's conceivable you could put something there.
Okay.
But that depends on, the fitness center, if we make that bigger or whatever, so that's all kind of to be determined based on this work that we're doing with Triarch.
Understood. All right. So your comments need to go be taken into consideration with where we are on the programming phase, and then we'll see how that plays out. You bet. Okay. 17 now? 18 now. Okay.
Good morning. My name is Roger Godin. I'm member number 148124. I came to offer a suggestion. A couple weeks ago, my wife and I went to the Marinette Center to play pickleball. And on that morning, it just so happens that the maintenance people were cleaning the interior courts. So there were 2 employees with these big wands that have jets of water, and they're just blasting the courts, cleaning them. And it dawned on me that, we're trying to conserve water. And in a discussion with one of the employees, I said, "How long have you been here?" And he said, "Well, I've been here since 6 in the morning. The other guy's been here since 4 in the morning, and we should wrap up by around 11. Even if that was an exaggeration and he was going to wrap up earlier, he said that to me around 10. So let's say he did 10 hours instead of 12 hours. 2 people, 10 hours. Figure the flow rate of gallonage per minute. That's a lot of water going down the drain. So my thought was, why not look at an alternative with a vacuum system? There's tons of vacuum systems out there. We can contact one of our existing vendors and have them recommend a model or 2, come down here, let us demo it, see how much of a time savings. Because if you look at the cost of the water, plus the cost of the labor, I'm pretty sure we could save quite a bit of money. With water, you push the debris further, and then you push it again further, and then you push it again further. With the vacuum, you pick it up here, and it's not going to be there. You're done. Better yet, you don't have to hit every square inch of the court. The debris kind of collects closer to the fences and the net, and you'd focus mostly there, but if there's nothing to be vacuumed, you just go on to the next court. The other benefit is the minute the guy walks off the court, it's available for use. So you're going to have to do some math and calculate how many labor hours are dedicated to cleaning the courts, because that was just the interior courts. You have to do the outside courts. You have to do all the tennis courts. So there's quite a bit of time dedicated to that. And if we could cut that time by 1/3 or half, you have more time to clean up Duffyland Dog Park. So the dog people will appreciate that. All right. Anyway, that was it. That was all I had. But some of you guys will have to do some math and figure out if it's feasible. But I think it's a good idea, just on the water savings alone. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Any comments, management or board members?
My question is for Mr. Whipple. Would leaf blowing work on the courts?
directing to me, but I think it's more for you. What are we doing? What are
No,
the
I'm asking
custodians doing?
if that would also be a suggestion. Couldn't you blow off those courts rather than blasting them with water?
This is the custodians handle that.
My worry would be the dirt that does build up. It may not be able to be blasted. It may need to be washed off the court. But I mean, we can look into it.
Okay.
I know they blow off the running track outdoors, and I watched them do it a few days ago, and it just blows up a huge cloud of dust. Now, there's probably way more dust outside than inside, and there's outdoor courts too. So you could do a trial and see how that works. But the other thing is, a vacuum system could also be used at the miniature golf or bocce ball, whatever. There's other ways to use it.
Okay. 19?
Raymond Young, 110879. And my question is on golf, is why there's a group that goes out there and it's a reverse shotgun, and they always block off 3 or 4 tee times because some of them can't make it around. Are they paying for them 3 extra tee times? I mean, you're talking about revenue that's not being used. And that's my question, is why? Maybe Brian knows.
For any reverse shotgun, we always block off a few extra times at the end because it typically takes a shotgun a little bit longer to turn than it does using straight tee times. So,
but it wouldn't be, Brian, if they keep up with play. Not the people in front, back of them, but the people in front of them.
just judging by my experience running shotguns since I was 19 years old, I would disagree. It just doesn't make any sense. You're talking about revenue, and you've got 3 tee times, sometimes 4 tee times that are blocked off that no money's coming in. Start charging this group for them tee times. Okay.
Mr. President?
And another thing about the bunkers at North, they were supposed to be taken care of, 3 years ago, 4 years ago? Nothing's been done. I'd like to know why.
Well, are you finished now, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Did you want to comment on that, Director Geis?
Yes, we just sent a revised business case to the Long Range Planning Committee to get initial design funds. Part of those funds would be for the redesign of bunkers at North, along with putting TIF-Tuff on the back 9. So we're working on that.
Yeah, will they take care of Riverview too?
This project is only for North, sir.
Oh, okay. Are they looking at Riverview down the road though?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Brian. I don't think so.
Nothing for Riverview is being considered yet.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Mr. President?
Director Collins.
I had a couple questions on the tee times. What time are we talking? Is this 8 o'clock in the morning?
Shotguns are generally no later than 8 o'clock, yes.
And are these small groups?
Not always.
Any tournament that we do a shotgun for we do have one small group that does a shotgun, so that would be one of the groups, yes.
Because I know that 2 years ago, they said the small groups would not start until 10 o'clock in the morning. So if you're putting them out there and they're taking away the tee times at 8 o'clock, that is not what the GAC decided 2 years ago. The other thing I have to say is, on March 17th, 2022, at a GAC meeting, they talked about the bunkers. They're still having trouble with the bunkers. Here we are 3 years later, the bunkers have not been fixed. We buy dump trucks, we buy trucks to make our equipment nice, but it's not equipment to make our courses better and more functional. I just don't understand why we're not putting the money into the courses to make them nice so that people will come here, and why we're taking away payable tee times is also, the gentleman's right. That's money, revenue coming in, and we're showing shortfall, but we still continue to do it after the GAC said it should be 10 o'clock in the morning. Thank you.
Well, I hate to correct you, but I believe it said starting at 8 o'clock, before 8 o'clock, or after 10 o'clock. So there was an 8 to 10 o'clock window when the small groups couldn't start. I think that was the actual recommendation. So the small groups are starting at 8 o'clock, sometimes 7:30, 7:45.
They could not start between 8 and 10.
Yeah,
They can't play, they can't take up tea times.
I understand that. I think that after 10 o'clock just wasn't correct in your part, sir.
Let's not debate.
Yeah.
Here
And as I
are-
said,
we
we started
got-
to work on the bunkers.
Well, there should be minutes on it. We can go back and look.
Well,
I guarantee
fine, we can go back to that, but this is for the members to have their chance to speak. So what number is next? 20?
Good morning, Randy Mapes, number 173143. First off, I want to thank you all for your time. I know it's a tough job. You kind of answered my question. I was kind of interested in finding about the paying for the membership, not per household, but per member. One of my concerns about that is if we go by number of people that are on the deed, you may be hurting people who can't afford it. You know, there's a lot of people out there that don't have a lot of money, so that's kind of my concern there. Plus, for the people who's been here forever, we came in, signed in under, you know, $650 per, or whatever the amount is per household. I understand money drives everything because we have shortfalls, but I think we really should take into account, you may have only one person on the deed, but 2 or 3 people living in a house too. And I know we can't make everybody happy and we can't be fair to everybody, but I wish we would consider all of them details. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
President?
Director Collins?
Sir, if I could sit down with you after the meeting, I want to explain some of that to you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Next number, Secretary Heiss.
21.
21?
Good morning. Ruth Mackay, 159538. First of all, I just have a curiosity question. When we had a general manager, he was always here, and I don't see the assistant general manager. We do have an assistant.
We have an interim general manager. That is
Mr. Durmeyer?
Mr. Durmeyer. Thank you.
And but we don't have an assistant general manager?
No, we do not.
Oh, I thought we did. Okay, so I don't have a dog, and I don't go to the Duffyland Dog Park, but I'm interested in the safety of the Duffyland Dog Park because I've spoke to someone who goes there and has a dog. And so as a follow-up to that, I went to one of the meetings where they had the different committees, and there's a safety committee, and it's run by a woman. I forgot her name, I apologize. Yeah, so I spoke with her, and she said that they have a schedule that they go to the Duffyland Dog Park on a regular basis and check to make sure that there's no safety issues there. And I didn't know if Mr. Whiprud was aware that that happened, which kind of works in with the facilities to follow up to make sure there's shade structures, the fences aren't broken so that dogs could run out and maybe get hurt, or somebody could trip on a stone that's been misplaced. So I just kind of wanted to share that information with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. 22?
Good morning, Mary Mitchell. 58582. My concern was the rec fees going up every year. I understand we have to make money to live and do and go and whatever, but there's all different kind of people here that live on different incomes. Are these going to be going up every year, or how are they? And the preservation fees, do they put that into an account that grows money that they pay for all these big projects? And 8 rec centers, 8. Now you want to build on more things? So people can move here from anywhere in the world and tell you guys what they want? You're moving to a retirement community. These are the things we provide. Either you accept it or move on. You don't come here from another state and want these plants, that. When I was young, I moved to Arizona. Believe me, I didn't want to come here. This is not my wonderful, beautiful retirement, because it's horrible. And I've been a widow twice too. There's nothing, it's my problem. But I pay my fees. I paid 3 times preservation fee, 3. Because people do not tell you when you sign all these 25, 30 papers that this and this and this. They said this is a retirement community. We are moving here. This is a retirement. You guys are all volunteering, correct? That's pretty good. But we're paying all these people and all these organizations. Don't we have people in our own committee here to take care of things? Why are we paying all this money out, and where's this money coming from? People get older. We're not going to live forever. We're not going to see how beautiful all these things are and make all these committees for all these people. We're going to please everybody that moves here? Tell them to go back where they came from. If it's so nice, stay there. And then they go back and forth, which is sickening to me. I'm a nurse. I see with these doctors and this and that, because you're a snowbird, you need your appointment now? Really? Really? But we're here all year round. Okay, I'm talking too long.
No, you're fine. You still got a few
The
minutes.
money is the main thing. All of us are paying. We're all paying, all of us. So we need to know where our money's going to and for what. We have 8 rec centers. You know what I think? They need to close 2 of them, maybe 4 of them. We're not going to please everybody. There's pools, there's this, there's that. If you want to keep going with pickleball, there's other places you can go to too. We're paying here anyway. For all these clubs we join, you got to pay extra. When I was younger, I got here, I did more things here than I do now, retired. But I help a lot of people and in my community. That's all. But I mean, I hope everything goes well, but we don't need any more different things. I'm sorry. I don't believe in that. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would add, just for some clarification, that the annual assessments do go for operating and maintenance of existing facilities. The PIF fees that you alluded to, and depending on how many times you may have purchased a home here, but you should only pay that essentially one time. You should get a refund. And is it within? Okay, so I guess there are some other rules there that I don't recall, but that is kept in a separate fund. It is not available for operating and maintenance. It is only available for the big construction projects in order to maintain the community. And there are rules about it has to be 15 years, it has to be a relatively large amount, and there are some dollar amounts in the rules about that. But the idea is those funds can't be siphoned off for other purposes. They're set aside for a specific purpose in order to maintain our community. Excuse me. So that's why it's a preservation and improvement fund. It's to try and keep the facilities looking nice so that as folks come looking for a retirement community, they would consider Sun City, because not only are there nice facilities, but there are adequate number of facilities for the number of people that live in this community, which is a fairly large number relative to some of the other 55-plus communities to our immediate west, not naming any of those. But they're smaller communities. They may have newer things. They may not have enough as we do, but we're a much larger community. So there's always trade-offs. There's always consequences. Make this decision, that means something else. So we're not, as you suggested, you don't please everybody, and we don't. but we do try to operate in the best interests of everyone in Sun City as best as we can. And so that's kind of in a nutshell, basically the function. So hopefully that's helpful, but if not, stop by and we will have a further discussion. All right, next.
Were you 22, ma'am?
Yes. 23.
23. Is there anyone who has not spoken yet that wishes to speak?
Numbers.
Did you grab a number in the back?
27, 28.
Okay, let's go with.
Is there 24? Okay, 25.
Jana Mapes, 1555586. I just have one thing about the 14-day rule, that I know it's in committee and so forth, that you can use a day pass 14 times a year. I think that's more than fair because Sun City is for the people who live here. Why should we allow people from Glendale, Peoria, even Surprise come over, use our facilities for $2 or $2.50, and they're wearing out our equipment, they're using it, but we get nothing else. It's costing us more for them to come in. If they want to come here so bad, let them move here. Right. Instead of doing that, I know some clubs are running short, they get people from outside coming in. No, they can move here. Let them join ranks with everyone else, and that's why it's here, instead of them getting the benefits without having to pay the yearly fee or anything else. Thank you.
Thank you. '26.
Tad Daughters, 11/7/43/6. One further comment there. It might well be that rather than limiting, have a sponsor for the people coming in rather than just coming in from the outside. Just a thought. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. 27.
Good morning, everyone. Joanne Greeny, 106561. Just a couple of smaller items. Number one is, what is the update? What is the plan for the spa, the hot tub room at the Bell Center? It has been closed now for, I think, about 2 years, and there's been no discussion on it. It should be a relatively small fix. I know you have asked for suggestions from us. I'm sure you've received quite a few suggestions. I understand that keeping it as a spa is not a viable situation. So, groovy. Let's go on and see what we can use with that space. Right now, if you're trying to look at attracting new people to move in, at that door, entering that spa room, it's brown paper, it's wrinkly, it's torn off. Let's do something permanent and say, maybe you'll see something behind these doors in 10 years. I mean, put something up there that looks like we know something is fixed. If we had a game plan, that would be wonderful. Number two is, I know I've brought this up before, and I probably will never happen. This update, I would really, really like to encourage somehow to get these mailed in the mailbox, not dropped off at the driveway, to every household that is a Sun City Rec Card member. This could be a lot more informative, a couple of more pages. What are the updates on what we've done last month as far as the parking lot, what we're doing next month as far as roofing, tennis people are coming in, and you know, something uplifting and happy. Just for a quick reference on this is I was out of town for about 10 days here, so I didn't have this in my mailbox, so I have to walk to a rec center to pick up the update because I do read it religiously and see what's going on to make sure that this dance is happening, this dance is not happening. So I would just really like to see how this could somehow be put on the budget in the mailbox, maybe by September. And yes, so the people are gone during June, July, August, and but it would be okay for that to be in the mail. We're only talking about one a month, that it could be in the mail when they come back in September, October, and they can say, oh, wow, good, we got a new roof. Number 3 is bingo. I know you have a lot of volunteers. I only really want to go to bingo in the summer because there's not as many people. Maybe we could have a smaller bingo room, something along that line. Those are my 3 items. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Mr. President.
Director Collins.
Yes, ma'am. I work the bingo every night, every Thursday night. And we do not have enough volunteers to continue the bingo over the summer. That's the only reason it's not going on all summer is we don't have the people at all. So it's going to close last Thursday of this month. It will be closing until first Monday or Thursday in September. We're sorry about that, but we're all volunteers and we all go away. Thank you.
Treasurer Borski.
Joanne, you talked about mailing the update. Just so you know, the one time we did mail it was almost $9,000 for 1 month. So that would be a considerable additional expense that we would have to turn around and put back into the rec center fees that are being paid. And the Bell hot tub, I'll let Mike speak to this, but the last time I heard it's $1 million. Because everything inside the walls are gone. So it's quite an expensive proposition. Correct, Mike?
Sort of.
Sort of.
It was $1 million based on the thought of repurposing or getting it back up to speed as a hot tub area, which is not what's happening. So what is happening is we're designing that as just a regular type of room, like a conference room, floor, ceiling, drop ceiling. The bids went out last week, as a matter of fact. We'll have bids by the end of May. And I don't anticipate this project to be anywhere near $1 million. So we'll let you know when we put a board packet together for the winning bidder.
Okay.
Also, that bid is not to put it, we don't have any determination on what's going in that room yet. We're just getting the room to a room that can be used for something. The other thing for the update, it is in the weekly email blast that goes out every Sunday morning. That's a clickable link, so you do have a way to read it while you're at home. I realize it's not the old school newspaper, so it's not as great. But the other thing to add on to Anita's talking about it was nearly $9,000 to mail it to every home, and it's an additional printing because now we're printing 30,000 instead of 3,000 to 5,000. So it was about another $7,000 or $8,000 to get them printed. So that monthly fee would add up to about $200,000 to mail that out every month. So we're trying to get people to read it online. It's a much more cost-effective way for us to deliver the news.
Yes, sir, Director. Gray, thank you. Sorry. I'm going to call him Director Red.
I try and play incognito here. Well, I'm going to just wave a flag because I've got some serious concerns. I know in our LRP meeting, somebody had brought up that we had appropriated $18,000 for that room. And I know that I've talked with many members from the Bell Rec Center that have put in suggestions for that room, for the former spa room. And now to hear that we're moving forward on something concerns me, and especially if we're going to spend money and we don't have it already defined what we're going to do. coming from a construction background, you don't do that because you may need to change things depending on how you handle that. And so again, we've had multiple recommendations for that room, and none of them that I've heard of. And again, these are from people that actually, and for full disclosure, I work out at the Bell Rec Center, so I end up talking with some of these people. And so when I see Joanne, but I think we need to be a little more cautious about moving on forward on something, especially until we get it defined what we're going to do, because there's no sense in spending money that we're going to have to change and modify. So I guess for me, hearing, and that's what I had heard, was nothing had been planned, but then again, just at I think it was our last LRP meeting where, hey, there's this money that's been appropriated for that. It just raises concerns for me.
Okay, thank you.
Director
we can
Gray.
follow up on that.
Yeah, I can follow up. You know, this process has been ongoing, but this was the direction from Matthew D. Luzansky to move forward with a vanilla room, basically, what we're calling it. And so I said at the time, we can't come back in later and say, oh, we're going to put a bunch of kilns in this room. I mean, he was like totally cool with that. So you're going to have a room that if you have a club that doesn't have a lot of intensive infrastructure needs, will work fine. So there's still lots of options for that room. It's 1,400 square feet. But I moved out on direction to get this out, get it designed, which it has been designed. It's been approved by the county, been approved by Sun City. It's just going to be a room. That's it.
Mr. President.
Director Collins.
Why are we moving forward on anything that was with the last general manager without coming to the board or the new acting general manager? I mean, this is ridiculous. We're going to do electrical, we're going to do communication lines in there, we're going to do all this, and then we'll put a club in there, and then they'll be putting in requisitions for this and for that. And why? Because we don't follow through, we don't check on things. Right now, I mean, we have none of our jobs these contractors are doing are being checked.
Okay,
And
I got it.
Wait a minute, no. I'm not going to stop.
This is a members' meeting, not your meeting.
We are not doing these bids and stuff. We're not putting them out and seeing if that's what we need. We're just
He's
cutting
only
corners.
put out some bids. He hasn't
be out
put
for
any
bid.
money out there. So this
No,
is
there is. There's been design done. We paid for that.
An opportunity to just take a breath and go, okay, let's revisit this as far as what we think we can do there. So just calm down.
Again, we're going backwards.
No, we're not going backwards. We're always going to move forward, but here's a situation where moving forward might be a little too quick at this point in time. So we can take a moment and make sure that what Mr. Ripprood is suggesting merely, if this is the case, is merely to make that a safe room that can be used for multiple different purposes. My understanding is that room was in very bad shape because of the humidity damage in the ceiling and in the walls. And if that's not fixed and addressed, that room becomes a bit of a safety hazard. So we don't want that to happen. Now, it doesn't mean that we're going to say, this is going to be our new bingo room. We're not making that decision.
Okay.
Right?
When we did the Grand Center where the sewing is, we left the floor out, we left the walls unwired until we decided what club was going to go in there. Then they did the flooring, the wiring, the lights, so we didn't have to go back and do things twice.
And
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think I've said anything here that is contrary to what you just said. I have not said this is going to be used for any specific purpose at this point. I'm just trying to make sure the walls and the ceilings don't fall down. So let's just take a few moments and make sure that that's the stage we're at, and then we'll worry about as Director Gray has suggested, what might be future utilization and electrical or heating and cooling, ventilation needs for that particular purpose if we can decide on what it is ultimately going to be used for. At this point, we're not that far, so just calm down, take a breath, and we'll make sure that that room is being designed for a proper purpose for our members. Okay? Treasurer Borski.
At my understanding at this point, the bid is out. It's simply a bid. It's a bid for a vanilla room, and when the bid comes back, we can throw it out if we don't like it. We don't have to do what the bid says, correct?
That would be correct.
Okay.
Okay. 28, 29? 28.
Good morning, Lori Ellingson, 133335. I swung by the Mountain View Rec Center right before I came to look at the tennis courts, and they have them painted. I think today they're working on the lines. So I want to thank the new board, your current board, for getting on top of that. It's greatly appreciated. And the tennis club and the entire community is thankful for the progress that you are making and the direction that you're going in making things that are high priority and taking care of those first. So thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. I have lots and lots of things that I want to discuss. And listening to some of the previous comments and listening to just this last one, again, it all boils down to common sense. Clint Eastwood says, with so many things coming back in style, I can't wait until morals and common sense come back again. So I am hopeful, and what I am seeing, that this board is using common sense, because common sense is like deodorant. The people who need it the most never use it. And the last one, referring to common sense, is common sense is not a gift, it is a punishment, because you have to deal with everyone who does not have it. So I am hoping that we can start using more common sense, and all of these issues, all of these problems will go away. Referring to the Bell Spa, I know at one point in time, 4 of our indoor hot tub jacuzzis were out of order at the same time. And I'm a little confused about that because I belong to various fitness clubs, fitness facilities, and not one single one has had problems with their indoor jacuzzis. So I'm wondering why Sun City has an issue with that. And maybe we need to look at another direction and figure out a way that we can keep those working by talking to these other facilities and finding out how they're able to achieve that. My 3 minutes are up. Hopefully, I can come back.
All right, thank you, Lori.
29.
29. Is there a 29? Is there a 30?
I pulled the last number.
You,
I didn't pull one to begin with, but yes, I am 30.
okay.
112650, Susan Bjork. First, thanks, Tom, for that thoughtful response to keeping our facilities up and we need to do that. We need to keep looking at new generations coming in, otherwise the homes that we have here won't be marketable to the new generations coming in and the facilities they need. So thank you for that. I came up because I have a different perspective on the 14-day rule. I know from a past board member that this was a conundrum that came up due to clubs and inviting outside guests. I have a different perspective because I have family members here in the state that come, and for instance, my cousin and I, we do aerobics together, water aerobics, but I have to go to her community because she doesn't have this issue with me going over there as a guest, but I do. So I can't bring her multiple times a summer to work out in my pool here that I pay for because of the 14-day rule. I could bring her, up to 14 times, but it's more of a hassle. And I have the issue, I'm up by Marionette. I have the issue every day from 1 to 4. I deal with everybody's kids. I respect that. People have kids. There are people here that have probably grandchildren that live in Peoria that can't live here. So I think there's got to be some sort of compromise here with respect to, because my cousin, she comes, more than 14 times. That's not going to kill anybody. So I don't understand that piece. So just look at it from that perspective as well, because I can't use the pool, with my cousin. I just choose to go over there because I don't want to deal with the hassle. Oh, how many times have you been here? So just consider that. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Anybody else?
We have one more. 31, 30. 31, okay.
31. Cheryl McLean, 100212. I do really appreciate the back and forth. In the past few years, when you'd come up to talk at this time, you would just speak and you'd be looking at faces looking back at you and nobody would make a comment. And I really appreciate the back and forth, and I even appreciate the back and forth amongst you all, because we need to hear what the whole situation is. Thank you very much.
Oh, all right, thank you. Director Collins, should we engage in something else here? Just to, no, never mind.
No, I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait,
Thank
yes,
you.
I do have something. No, I do have something of importance before this meeting is over.
All right, hang on a second. So everyone who wanted to speak the first time has done so? All right, was there anyone who wanted to come up a second time? Lori?
Thank you. So the main purpose of what I wanted to say today was helping to increase the image of Sun City, to make it more enjoyable for younger generation to move here and to make it more beautiful for those that do live here. And that is the reason why I made a motion at the annual membership meeting to change the name of the facilities agreement fee to community enhancement fee. By doing this, it would eliminate the confusion that many people have that it is a fee that allows access to the use of recreation facilities. By calling it a community enhancement fee, it will give new buyers not only a better understanding that the fee is necessary in order to maintain not only the buildings in Sun City, but also the outdoor areas. This will help current homeowners and new buyers understand that these funds will help the beauty of all our 8 rec centers and outdoor facilities such as Viewpoint Lake, Duffyland Dog Park, the Sun Bowl, the softball field, all golf courses, and all landscaping surrounding the rec centers. By changing the name to Community Enhancement Fee, it'll help all homeowners feel a sense of pride by helping to enhance the total look of their neighborhood and the community they live in. By keeping the community maintained with current trends and proper maintenance and a refreshed look throughout the years, it will keep their property values up. This in turn will help keep our property values high, the homes to sell quicker, and make the community more enticing for retirees who are looking for a community with values rather than locals moving across town because it is a cheap place to live. If Sun City is to be a desirable place to live in, then we must keep up with the current trends and be willing to make changes. One other suggestion that several people have been talking about is trying to get Sun City designated as a historical district, and primarily Phase 1. There are several architectural features in Phase 1. The cute little patio shade covers are very retro. In Scottsdale, Valley Ho was a hotel that started in 1956, and it is thriving on a retro, nostalgic look. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Okay, have we exhausted everyone who wished to speak? All right. Vice President Nedesine would like to make a small announcement here.
So I'd like to thank everybody that came to Maricopa 2040, the comprehensive plan last week. I really appreciate the turnout that we had, but I'd also like to remind everybody that the survey is still open. The wall that they were talking about where you can actually make comments is still open. Showa has a lot of virtual sticky notes on that wall where you can go like them. You can add more, build off of it. I'd really like to encourage everybody to do that. Decisions are being made about where Maricopa funds will be spent, or at least planned to be spent over the next 10, 20 years. This is one of their 10-year cycles. I think it's important as a significant portion of the unincorporated areas for Maricopa County that our voice is heard. So I'd just like to encourage people to actually you can go to Maricopa County, you'll see the wall, you can engage in the survey. I cannot encourage people enough to be involved. Thank you. So basically, we sent a flyer out virtually, giving instructions on how that went. We will be sending the presentation out for the Mountain View thing today. I will make sure that we include the link for Maricopa County for 2040 as well. Basically, you just go to Maricopa, you can Google Maricopa County. I don't know their URL their address off the top of my head, but Google maricopacounty.gov, go to their site, it'll talk about the comprehensive plan and you can navigate there. But I'll make sure that when we send out the inclusion for this particular presentation, that we also have that there as a reminder for Maricopa County 2040 comprehensive plan. Thank you. Go ahead.
The website is framework2040.com.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike. Any other?
Yes.
Director Collins.
Yes, I just have a small couple announcements pertaining to clubs. All clubs must complete the template by January. So they need to look into that, call the COC, Club Organizations Committee, or call the club's office. Angela will help you, or you can go to the computer club and they will help get the template in place. Also, any clubs, if you're purchasing any equipment, you cannot just go out and buy machinery and this and that. You have to notify the club's office with what you would like to purchase. They will check to make sure you have the electrical capacity in your building, and it will fit, everything will be okay. You can't just go out and purchase things. You must put it in a request to the club's office first. Thank you.
Okay. Treasurer Borski.
Hi, just a quick pitch. I'm also the president of the foundation, Sun City Foundation, and we're looking for a couple members. It's not a big time consumer, maybe 5 hours every couple weeks. We're looking at people that can go out and interview our applicants. I think you'd find it very rewarding. These are people that are on the low income scale and are having trouble paying their fee assessments. And all we need you to do is go out, make an appearance, make them feel wanted, and see where they are and if we can provide them some help. So if anybody's interested, please let me know. I think you'll find it a very rewarding thing to do. Thank you.
Okay. Our next meeting then for the Board of Directors will be on May 29th at 9 a.m. right here at Sundial. And the next exchange meeting, like this one, will be on June 9th at 9 a.m. at Sundial, again, right here. And we're proposing that the next annual meeting will be March 10th at 2026 at 6 p.m., again, right here in this room. So there being no further business, I adjourn this meeting, and thank you so much for coming.
This is a copyrighted production of the Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated and is intended for the sole purpose of informing our Recreation Center members. Any duplication, copying, transmission, broadcast, or use, including electronic and social media, is strictly prohibited without the prior written consent from the Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated. Thank you for watching.